Hey everyone, welcome back to the Infected Outdoors YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be reviewing a pretty cool product that we've been able to test out for the last few weeks. It's going to be the Pulsar Mergers. This is the XP50 LRF version. So this is really what used to be the accolades. This is Pulsar's new redefined binoculars for thermal imaging. So these things have been really cool. We've gotten to try them out in the field for several weeks now. Really got to get on some groups of pigs up close, got to see a lot of coyotes, and really see what this thing's capable of. This thing has been really impressive. I was blown away by how good the LRF in this is. I was easily range finding deer out at like 950 yards. And then being able to tell that they're clearly deer running around in a pasture at 950 yards. I felt like that was really useful, really good tool. This thing's going to be superb for the guys coyote hunting in the Midwest that are really looking for something that they can set up on a stalk and really be able to identify what animals are coming in at 500 plus yards. So really cool. Pretty standard. So the accolades were similar. They had adjustable pieces. I like the look of them. They look like your traditional binoculars that you would have. You have the eyepieces that actually pull in and out, and then you have focus for every eye. So if your eyes are a little different, you can focus that picture perfectly for every eye, and then you have your main adjustment focus for your thermal image on the back end. So it does not have two thermals as it seems. One side is your LRF version, and then your other side is the actual thermal. So that is something that we came to notice. It is pretty cool. It does have the LRF mounted like inside. And then another cool feature with that LRF is that you can have it scanning non-stop continuous to where you can sit there and look out in the field and that scans constantly and constantly is picking up new ranges versus having to click every time that you want to find a new range. And so while you're scanning, you're sitting there, you can continuously find new ranges as you go, which has been pretty useful for us while we were hunting. Just overall, the image quality is probably one of the best that I've seen across all the scanners. I'm a huge fan of the Helions, and so I was always blown away by the new Helion 2 Pro that they came out with. It was phenomenal image, probably one of the best thermal images I've looked through. And this is probably just a touch better than that, and so I was really impressed with that. We were able to really see different ranges, see animals up close, see animals far away, and really get to see what this thing's capable of. And so, as you've seen our channel, we do mostly pig hunting here in Central Texas, but I could really see this even still being useful for us. While we tend to pull into a field and we scan on the fly. That's a little harder to do with two eyepieces versus, what we found was really useful is the guy sitting in, passenger seat when we roll into a field and he's scanning for us. He can really put these up to both eyes, get a nice wide field of view, and really see everything that he needs to see. Overall, really impressed with it. Some pros that I have on this unit are just the image quality in general. It's phenomenal. It's nice to get that wide field of view. So it has 2.5 base magnification, but you really get this nice wide field of view with both eyes. So it almost feels like it's much wider than your standard scanner that you would be using. You feel like you can see a lot wider because of it. And then, just that eye relief. If you're sitting in the dark, it can really dilate pupils when you're looking with a scanner with one eye versus two. So that's where the binoculars really come into play, and they're really handy. Overall, the LRF is extremely handy. I think there's not really been a whole lot of scanners that I've gotten to use that have that LRF mounted into it, and so it's really handy when I'm stalking up on a group of pigs. I can just throw this thing up, I can see exactly where those pigs are at, and then I can continue walking forwards. So that's been really helpful from the LRF standpoint, and so really like that. Some cons. So they are a little bulkier than a scanner, like just a monocular, and so that's something that's taken some getting used to. I'm used to having a scanner. I just slide it into my pocket when I'm done, and when we're getting ready to shoot, and so that's taken some getting used to when I just have this hanging around my neck. It does take up some space, so from a bulky standpoint, it does get in the way sometimes, and so I'm not sure if I could use this every day pig hunting, but if I was coyote hunting and we were setting up on a stand, these things would be phenomenal. These would be exactly what I would be looking for from a scanning perspective. The other con that I have, and it's pretty petty, but the menu buttons. And it's kind of dumb, but I've gotten so used to Pulsar's menu buttons. You normally have a menu button in the middle and, you know, up and down on each side of it that you can scroll up and down. And this is actually the menu buttons on the bottom, and then your up and down are in the like up top. And so it just throws me off in the dark. I'm used to being able to like find my buttons. I think with getting some time to play with it, it would help, but just intuitively, it's totally different than any of the other units they've put out. And so it's kind of really thrown me for a loop on that one. And so that's one of the few downsides that I can find on the unit. Overall, there's really not much. I mean, I like it. The unit does come with its internal battery, so it has an internal battery. So even if you don't have the rechargeable battery in there, they'll still work. They're very similar to the Thermions where they have an internal battery system. That internal battery has lasted a really long time. And then it also runs on the long batteries. They're the APS 3s. And then so they just slide in here, they click in, and then you're good to go. So they, I mean, we ran these all night long from like 9 o'clock in the evening all the way until nonstop until about 4 in the morning. We never really had to change batteries or anything like that. We were able to get a full charge, and I even finished the hunt with like the internal battery, basically had nothing used out of it yet. And so I can see these lasting a night, almost 2 nights, depending on how long you leave it on and if you turn it on and off. So that's a big benefit to me. I mean, especially if you're setting up, doing a contest, you're not constantly changing out batteries. I feel like that really helps. So this also comes with a really cool feature. I'm not a big fan of it personally, but where you can raise it up and the image will pop up, and then when you let it down, it'll actually recognize that your face isn't there and the image will turn off. The reason I'm not a huge fan of that is sometimes we'll set up these behind us to get footage as we're walking up, and when we're doing that, the image would shut off and it wouldn't really record that image. And so that's one of the negatives that I see with that, but I think it's really beneficial when you're up and walking on a stalk, or I know like coyote hunters are really worried about like the coyotes seeing the glare from the image reflecting on their face. We have that same issue with pigs. If the pigs are really educated, and they see that glare off your face as you're walking up, they may tend to spook. We haven't had a whole lot of problems with it, but it's something I'm cognizant of whenever, with a thermal, as like we're getting ready to shoot. Sometimes that image is reflecting on our face. So it's definitely something that is cool that they integrated that in here. And so it's really cool to see where Pulsar's technologies continue to go over time. Other than that, man, they've been awesome units. We really have enjoyed getting to use these. Big thanks to Nugget Night Vision for always letting us demo new gear and everything like that. And then, go check them out. Their website's nuggetnightvision.com. These retail for about $5,900 on their website. They're launching now. I know pre-orders were going for a while, and then, mid-October they were supposed to start seeing the first units show up in stores. So go check them out. Awesome units. Highly recommend. Especially if you're doing a lot of coyote hunting, but even if you're pig hunting in Texas, these things are great. If you're sitting up in a deer stand, you're really looking long ranges, these things are going to be phenomenal. If you're walking up to pigs, they're very handy. You get both eyes, you really get that wide field of view. So check them out. They're worth the buy. Thanks, guys. Subscribe to our channel. Thank you.